Nice to meet you both today,
You too.
virtually. Big fan of this show, so I'm very excited. The show is constantly surprising. You think it's going to go one way, and then it just goes in another direction completely. I just wondered if you can both recall first reading the scripts and kind of going through that experience that the viewer's going to go on when they see it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you said it. Like it's one of the things that I think drew us all to this project is like you read it and you're like, oh wow, it's already interesting that the things are being explored that are being explored, and the feeling of sort of overwhelmment that Paula has, which I think we're all familiar with, of trying to juggle all the things that life is throwing at us, and then it just takes these turns and goes off in these directions that just kind of blow your mind and are really entertaining, really funny, really dark, and it never lets you kind of rest or kind of you can't sort of settle into anything because there's so many sort of surprises, as you said, along the way. So it was a really compelling read, and like it's the kind of script, I guess, that you read and you're like, oh my god, this is just going to be so compelling to watch. So I wanted to jump in, and I think probably we all felt something similar.
Yeah, I mean, it was you're right off the bat from scene one. You're sort of curious about like, okay, where is this going? Is she gonna meet Trevor in person? Is this gonna be a relationship that comes? Oh my God, what? So I hope the audience is really like as curious as Paula is.
Yeah. I mean, as actors, if you feel gripped by a script, can that often be enough to just think, yeah, I want to do this? I mean, of course, there's multiple factors at play, but how important is that initial first reaction?
I mean, I think I always want to say the script is everything. It's not everything, but it's like if a script is great, it makes our job kind of easier in a way. Like, and you've got more time to just like come up with stuff to kind of add to it. But when the script is there, you feel like anchored in something that you feel anchored in something. Like it's like you feel like, oh, this is something that can work, and it's all there. Then it's up to us then to not mess it up. That was sort of the feeling with this. I'm like, oh, there's so many great elements. The characters are great. Like it was just naturally something that felt like when it's on the page, you feel safe and excited to then be able to like bring your stuff to it.
And Brandon, I was going to ask, were you able to kind of undertake much kind of research into this world? Because it's a huge thing that's kind of going on. So, I mean, did you meet any cam boys to try and kind of discover more about the people who go on the kind of webcams, to understand more about who they are behind the lens?
Yeah, I mean, I have friends who partake in all sorts of sex work, whether it be like dominatrix in a dungeon or cam boys online. So I was able to like sort of pull from a couple people's different relationships to it, and and reading different books about sex workers and sort of how the narrative of how they work has changed over time. I mean, the internet wasn't a thing always, so that's a new way of making a business, and also how you participate in the sex work is different, and it's quite performative online in a way. Like you really take away the physical meeting, so you kind of, the fantasy can really be anything, and I really love that idea that it really is just a performance of being the person the client needs you to be.
And just very finally, I mean, Murray, I've interviewed you before a few years ago in London. I thought you were bloody lovely. And I always like it when I meet someone very affable and then see them be so kind of dark on screen. So I know it's a bit of a kind of cliche, but is there something quite cathartic and exciting about playing roles like this on screen, those that are just so far removed from your usual self?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's challenging and fascinating and interesting because it's not who I am, in my real life. But, I think all the characters that ever exist inside of us all. So it's, finding those parts of yourself, or like, you know, discovering those parts of yourself in different ways, and having the chance to express that stuff is really fantastic. And as you said, like really cathartic. You know, you get to do things in this job that I would never do in real life. And, you know, being able to, like, in some of the roles that I've had where, you know, like in the White Lotus, for example, this guy who's just like overwhelmed by like obnoxious people all the time, and just eventually being able to lose your shit in a way that I would never do in real life. So amazing. Like, you know, it's like, it's really like kind of therapy. That's not the goal. That's not why I'm in this, but it's like an interesting kind of side note of, as a sort of reformed people pleaser, but still kind of battling not being so much of a people pleaser. I like to be affable, but I don't want to, you know, yeah, I think that's a trap that you can get stuck in. But to be able to vent some of my pent up frustrations from my intense people pleasing days when I felt like people walked all over me is very cathartic.
Maybe I need to become an actor. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, guys, and best of luck with the release of the show.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey, you guys.
Hey you guys.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys.